Welcome everyone. We'll start in a minute or so as more attendees arrive. Thank you. Please stand by. Hey. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where for attending this webinar today. I would like to welcome you all to this Citrix Ready Technical webinar series where we showcase how Citrix and our partners have integrated to deliver valuable products and solutions to common problems faced by our customers today. So before we start this presentation, I would like to mention a few things. There would be few questions. There would be few poll questions during this webinar. Please use please vote those, and there will be a Q&A session at the end of the webinar as well. So please post your questions in the question panel on the right-hand side, and we'll take your questions at the end. Next slide, please. Thank you. So to talk about Citrix Ready program, Citrix Ready is an end-to-end technology partner program that showcases and recommends third-party products, solutions, and services that demonstrate the compatibility with Citrix products. Customers can quickly and easily find solutions recommended by Citrix in the Citrix Ready marketplace by navigating to citrixready.citrix.com. For more information on the Citrix Ready program, you can navigate to the links that have been showcased on the screen now. Next slide, please. Okay, so now we are in the cloud era. So most companies are moving towards cloud and the cloud-based solutions, and who want to provide a better way the users with access to the apps, data, and the services. This also makes life simplify. Like you don't have to spend much on the infrastructure. Management becomes more easy. So Citrix has also moved to the cloud, and our entire workspace services portfolio is also available in the form of Citrix Cloud Services. As you could see, we have XenApp services, Zen Desktop services, Zen Mobile, NetScaler. So we have all these services made available on the Citrix Cloud. As we are unifying our products into an integrated portfolio of services, you could provide any service to any user, which is simple, fast, secure, and adaptable. This makes Citrix administrators use a single management plane to deliver unified and reliable access to the apps, data, and networks to their employees whenever it is needed. Next slide, please. Thank you. So as you could see, as I was mentioning, that cloud services had made our lives very simple now. So you could implement a fully integrated Citrix portfolio from a single management plane. You don't have to switch to different computers. You don't have to switch to different or multiple administration consoles. No hassle of administration from multiple points. All you could do is just log on to one console and then completely manage the Citrix cloud services. And yes, definitely it is fast when it comes to deploy the entire infrastructure. Like in our older days, we don't have to sit for hours together and set up everything. Each single component needs to be installed. We don't have to do that anymore. it's deployed like in few hours. We could set up the entire infrastructure, and definitely we use the latest capabilities and the innovations which are required for our day-to-day tasks. And Citrix, as usual, as we have always concentrated towards the security, we have done a lot of analytics, and we have taken the approach towards the security as well based on these analytics. So when it comes to the adaptability, we have managed highest level of flexibility across multiple cloud solutions, and then which includes like on-prem cloud, on-prem solutions, and then public and private clouds as well. Next slide, please. Right. So here you could see the difference between the traditional deployment and the Citrix cloud deployment. So in the traditional deployment, we used to have a hypervisor wherein we have to set up the server VDAs, desktop VDAs. We used to have some dedicated machines for Active Directories, and then a dedicated server for your Citrix servers. So it was a lot of virtual machines were created. A lot of administration needs to be done in the traditional deployment. However, when we move on to the Citrix cloud deployment, it is fairly simple now. So the lower part, if you could see the box, it shows the resource location, which talks only about your hypervisor, Active Directory, NetScaler gateway. And the main component is the cloud connector, which connects to the Citrix cloud. The Citrix cloud is the entirely operated by Citrix itself. It has your studio, director, licensing part. Sorry, I think I got cut off earlier. Yeah, so I was mentioning that Citrix cloud deployment is pretty simple now. All that you need to do is you have a cloud connector, and the cloud connector will connect to the cloud instance, which has all the components of Citrix. You have delivery controllers, studio, director, license server. Everything is taken care by Citrix itself. So before we move on to the further presentation, I would like to post a poll question and take your opinion. So please answer this. So the question is, are you considering to implement Citrix Cloud? We'll have another like 5-10 seconds for the audience to answer. And we are getting good response. Okay, great. So 27% say yes. Sorry. Yeah, let me hand it over to Dom now. Dom, over to you.
Many thanks, Shasi. So good afternoon, good morning, afternoon, evening, welcome, depending on which part of the world you're currently located. My name is Dominic Wordsworth, and I'll be your host for the next 40 minutes or so. I'm joined by Federico Zani, who will be assisting me in answering any of your questions at the end. So by all means, please, if you have any questions, just use the chat facility to ask them, and then we'll be covering those off at the end of the session. So I'd like to start off by just mentioning how incredibly proud we are to be part of the Citrix 20 program and the work that we're doing, working directly with Citrix to develop next generation workspace solutions. And our single-minded mission is to enable companies, large and small, to deliver the best possible digital workspace experience across their entire organization. Now, I'm going to be giving you a whistle-stop tour of some of the valuable features and things that we can do in support of a Citrix cloud environment. So it will be fairly high level in that respect because of the time we have, but I just want to kind of point out, and I will be reminding you again of some of this towards the end, but there are a number of excellent kind of additional resources that you can use for further reading and to provide some of that further detail. So a little bit on the background, and I'm not going to dwell too much time here. My involvement, I've been involved with Citrix for probably 20 years now, and the kind of the benefits to deploying a Citrix environment are obvious around enhanced productivity, lowering your compute costs, and delivering improvements around your security of your information, your data, and your users. But to this day, when we talk to customers, there still remain some challenges, and they generally are around how best to deliver or provide efficient and cost-effective deployment for the environment, management, and also unpredictable user experience and cost of ownership over time. And both of these benefits and these challenges are kind of intricately interconnected to the barriers as we see them, which really are around complexity and cost. So a lack of capability around automation and orchestration, and the inability to effectively manage multiple environments, and the ongoing kind of infrastructure and integration costs and requirements, or certainly the perception of the requirement that you need specialist virtualization skills in order to deliver a Citrix environment. So that's a kind of touching on the background. And just by way of introducing the flexible smart workspaces for Citrix Cloud range, we really are a software suite supporting Citrix Cloud as a platform and delivering some key value to extend and enhance that existing capability. So providing a systematic deployment methodology for Citrix Cloud delivery, so providing uniformity and around the way that you deploy the environment, automating and orchestrating a lot of the delivery tasks and the day-to-day tasks that you would run at on a day-to-day basis. We have provided the ability to be storage agnostic, and I'll come on to some of these things in a bit more detail in a moment, but adding out of the box multi-tenancy and multi-environment capability to kind of extend what is available to you today within Studio, and then bringing this all back to a single pane of glass so that you have a single place to manage the entire environment, and all delivered via a pre-configured specialized appliance range that scales very simply as you grow. So why, when you look at the appliance itself, what does that look like? Well, we deliver, as I say, as a pre-configured appliance. There's 2 nodes as standard. On board, you have the option to use the local fast SSD, or you can plug directly into your own SAN. We've built and focused specifically on XenServer as the hypervisor platform, and then importantly included and out of the box is the Citrix Cloud connectors, which install and deploy automatically, connecting you into that Citrix Cloud environment. So why would you choose smart workspaces for Citrix Cloud? Well, ultimately and essentially, we are an on-site resource layer for Citrix Cloud, extending those benefits by providing an on-premise compute layer for hybrid cloud workspace solutions. We are a tailor-made appliance range, and we only focus exclusively on Citrix, on extending the value of Citrix. So as a result of that, and as a result of the many years that we've worked closely with Citrix, we are very tightly integrated into the Citrix software stack, and we deliver an intelligent software layer over and above the resource layers that you might see from our competitors. So very focused, very tightly integrated, and an intelligent layer. We provide with our suite a very simple to manage solution. As I mentioned, multi-tenancy and multi-environment out of the box to fully manage and monitor your deployment, extend Citrix Studio capabilities in support of multiple global locations, and providing the ability to do things like schedule and manage updates at any level from Hypervisor through those virtual workspace VMs. I mentioned that we are storage agnostic, and really our view there is that you have the ability within our appliance to use the integrated fast storage that comes on board, or utilize your existing network storage. So really providing you that ability and that flexibility to protect your existing investments and reduce your total cost of ownership over time. We also have available the option to use the Storage Spaces Direct technology from Microsoft for replication of the storage between all of our nodes. And whilst we are available across Hypervisor, we've been very careful to focus on Citrix XenServer as the industry-leading open source platform, simply because our view is this is the most tightly integrated hypervisor within the Xen app and Xen desktop product range. We incorporate the long-term stable release, and in order to kind of leverage and provide these additional benefits, we felt that that the XenServer hypervisor was the natural choice to do that. So that's a bit of a kind of a high-level overview of who we are and what we do. What I'd like to do now is take you through a demo of our suite console, and hopefully relate some of the things that I'm going to show you back to some of those concepts that I've talked about. And this is really about showing you how simple and efficient and effective it is to deploy, manage and support your environment without the need for expensive virtualization skills. So I'm going to be showing today creation of VM models. I'm going to be showing how to create and automatically deploy templates. And for the context of Citrix, when I reference a template, the Citrix vernacular would be a golden image. I'm then going to show editing those templates, and I'm going to be publishing an application live on the fly within Storefront. I'm going to show you how to create user resources, and then drill into the actual desktops themselves and show you how we can provide that global review, and then drill into the desktop in a bit more detail to show how the many data points and the metrics that we can bring into one place can help you in support of your users and your environment. And I'm going to finish off by just touching on roles-based access control. Security is at the forefront of many a CIO today, and our product really provides an extra layer of security that helps plug some of the gaps that you might see within that environment. So, without further ado, I'm going to jump into the demo. So, Cloud Console access, and what I would like to kind of kick off with, I guess, is just a very high-level view of some of the dashboards that we're able to provide, but to give you that kind of global view of what's going on in the environment. So in this case, I'm going to start with the platform dashboard, and this is pulling metrics from the environment itself. So this is a completely customizable console, so I can move these widgets around. I can tailor it to provide the exact view that's relevant to my own requirements. I can add and remove widgets, so I can add all sorts of data points, again based on the requirements that I have and the things that I need to review. And then I can do things like filter on a date range to drill specifically into that kind of detail. In terms of the user experience dashboard, this is a really kind of unique view from Flexxible on the actual experience that your customers, that your users are having in their day-to-day usage of their desktops. So again, this is unique data that we're able to collate and bring together to give you that global view from that single place. I'd just like to point out at this point and just kind of highlight that I'm able to filter here by tenant. Obviously, I've mentioned in the deck that one of the areas that we, critical areas that I see that where we extend, the value of a Citrix cloud deployment is being able to deliver multi-tenancy and full multi-environment out of the box from our suite. And I'll be coming back onto tenants in a moment when I show you some of the other features. But it was just really to point out this is a unique thing that we're able to deliver for our customers. So let me start on the demo agenda item, the first agenda item, and I'm going to be showing you the creation of VM models and templates, and then how to automatically deploy those templates or those golden images automatically within Flexxible Suite. So the first thing I need to do is just search for my VM models via my left nav, and you can see that I have a number of VM models here within this demo environment. If I click on the application server model, then you can see that I'm able to customize the name. I'm able to customize the VM type. So in this case, this is an application definition. I'm able to customize the OS image and then configure the virtual hardware parameters. Individual and group firewall rules will be automatically imported, and you can see the VDA that you will be installing as well, or the version of the VDA to install. We also have the ability to provide configuration scripts, config scripts, which will help you get this template ready for editing in storefront and installing all of the necessary components. And I won't show you this in detail, but you're also able to create your own scripts and add them to the VM model to install additional components and customize and tailor this specifically around your own requirements for your environment. If I go back to my VM models list, you can see that I'm able to select a model and I'm able to clone that very quickly, so I can again create efficiencies around how I build these things out within our console. So let's create a template, and to do that I just need to come back into my tenants within my left nav and select a tenant. In this instance, I'm selecting a tenant for a partner, and I just need to select my tenants tab. So all I need to do from here in order to create that new template or create that new golden image is create a template from a desktop definition. And you can see as this screen builds that I'm able to select the VM model that I've created. So in that previous instance, there were two There were 2 desktop models. I actually showed you the application model, but there were 2 desktop models, so I can choose my VM model. I can customize the name. I can apply a time zone. In this case, I'm going to set it up as Greenwich Mean Time, and I can also then add my local OS customization. So in this case, I'm going to set that as English United Kingdom. In a multi-farm deployment, you can also choose the farm, the hypervisor, the domain, and the VLAN. And when I click OK, this will kick off a job that you can review under the Jobs tab. Now, I'm not going to do this because it takes a good few minutes to do. I'm going to show you the one that I've created previously. Now just click OK. So if I come to my jobs, I have a view of everything, all of the actions and activities that have been undertaken by an administrator in the administration of the Citrix environment via the Smart Workspaces Suite console. This is a great way of providing an audit trail of exactly what's been done in the administration of the system. And if I select and I click on this job here, here's one that I've created previously. For context, this process, if it was being done manually in conversation with our customers, might take some in the region of 6, maybe 8 hours to get through this whole process. As you can see from here, this job was kicked off at 23 minutes past 6 in the morning, quite early, but 40 minutes later was complete. So again, very rapid, efficient way of automating and orchestrating these kind of processes. And if I drill into this line here, the initial VM setup configuration, I'm provided with a wealth of detail around the actual configuration report. So all of the processes that have kicked off, all of those tasks that have been undertaken in the completion of that process. So granular way of understanding exactly what's going on within the system. And you can view this progress on the job, and when this job is finished, I'll have a new template ready to be edited in Storefront. So let me move on to show you editing templates within Flexxible Suite. So I just want to show you a storefront. I'm going to log on here as a user, and you can see currently at the minute that I have, this user has assigned to them a Windows 10 desktop. So if I return back to my tenants section, there are a couple of things that I need to just ensure I have complete in order for me to be able to go in and fully edit that template. So the first thing that I need to do is ensure that my template is in an editable state. I can see that that is, but if that wasn't the case, then I can very quickly come in and I can automatically set that to be editable. I can then just need to go back to my user and just ensure that my user has the ability to edit a template. So here's the user for that storefront. As it stands at the minute, I'm a standard user, but I'm now going to allow this user to edit templates. So I simply tick the box, click OK, click Save, and when I come back to my storefront and I now refresh that, you'll see that I now have those templates available for me within Storefront to be able to edit. So let me open that template. Just wait for that to connect for a moment. And I'm now going to show you just how easy it is to publish an application directly from my session in the template. So if I come in and show you that storefront again, you can see that within here I have no apps currently available to me via that storefront. So as an admin who has the ability to publish applications, I simply need to right click on my app icon and send to the Flexxible application publisher, I'm able to change the publishing settings, the various parameters, icons, and other settings. So for example, I might want to put in an argument like so, and when I click OK, the application publisher will now automatically publish that application for me. I'll just give that a moment or two, and I can see that my application has now been published. If I return back to my storefront and again just refresh that, I can see that that application has now been made available to me. And as a template editor, I can now directly test its operation directly from the storefront. Similarly, if I want to remove an application, then the process is exactly the same. This is now my Chrome opening. With the domain included as part of that argument that I included as part of that publishing of the app. So let me close that. As I say, similarly, if I come back to my template itself and I just want to remove that application, I simply click on it, remove, a couple of clicks, and that again was all happened seamlessly for me in the background, very rapidly, very simply, and again without requiring any level really of virtualization skills that might be costly to your organization. So once again, come back to this storefront, and that's now been removed. So creating user resources. To create a desktop for a user or to give access to an application, we need to assign the corresponding template. So I'm going to come back into my console, and I'm going to show you how simple and easy and rapid that is to do. To do that, I'm going to need to go to my Users tab within my tenant, and I'm going to select the user or users. So in this case, I'm going to select a user that I've created previously, and all I need to do now in order to create that and to apply that template is assign a desktop in this very simple way. So just quickly to kind of show you this, I'm just going to log on to another storefront. Let me close this one. I'm going to log on to my storefront. Apologies. Apologies, let me just bring this up. So this is let me just log off from this previous user, and I will now log in as a brand new user. So this is a brand new user who is about to be deployed with a brand new desktop. So as I log in here, you will see that currently I have nothing available to me. So I simply need to go back in to my user. I select manage. I apply and assign my Windows 10 desktop. And a job, again, will now be scheduled to apply the changes when I save this tenant. So I just need to remember to click save. And again, I can go back into my jobs and I can refresh that and I can see those jobs in progress. So if I now come back and refresh, moments. Perhaps I have not saved that. Just 1 second. Yeah. Sorry, I think that's just catching up. So let me come back and I will show you in a moment, as that system catches up with itself, that I now have a Windows 10 desktop provisioned for that user, and I'll come back and show you that towards the end. So once that assignment has generated a job in the queue and completed, that user will be able to work directly on their desktop. So I want to kind of move on and show you how we provide global visibility of desktops and sessions at a glance. So if I move to the desktop section within the console, this provides and helps you kind of see all the status of all the sessions at a glance. Now, again, this is a completely customizable view, so I'm able to tailor this to the detail and the information that I need to see and that is important to me, and kind of things that I need to view on my day-to-day basis. So I can add columns, and in this case, I might add. I want to view my appliance name. I am able to filter by date, so I can choose from and to dates and really drill down into that information as I need it. So I'm also able to build advanced filters that will allow me to export to the generated list. So again, if I come into one of these columns, I'm able to build an advanced filter which will allow me to specifically drill into the context of the information that I'm needing to see. So I can, in this case, I can choose appliance name, contains 02, for example, and that will then drill down and provide me specifically the relevant information, the contextual information that I need to view based on my requirements. Similarly, in sessions, I'm able to view all of the sessions, including desktops, the SDI, your applications, and again, this screen gives you the exact same capability to customize your view and build advanced features. So all of this capability that I've just shown you there is available via this sessions view as well. So in terms of then, so I've talked about deploying templates, assigning those templates to a user, some of this kind of day-to-day management of the environment. In terms of supporting a user, being able to drill into a detailed view of the current state of a user or historical information for a specific desktop is critical in providing that level of support in order to deliver that world-class user experience. So again, if I click on my desktop view and I log into a user, I'm provided with a whole host of useful information that I can then use in support of my user. So when I click on that desktop and I drill in, immediately at the top there are a number of things that I'm able to action. So I can affect or execute certain actions like changing the power state. I can notify the user. I can perform remote assistance. And I can also create my own custom operations. So I can create custom operations to package scripts to automate the solution of known issues or problems. So where you have an issue which is specific to your organization or your environment or something that you need to do in the day-to-day operations of your Citrix environment, you can package those custom those scripts to create those custom operations so that you can do those things at the click of a button. You can also, if I scroll down, you can look at performance metrics. Specifically for this desktop, I can view the policies that are applied to this user. I can view running applications. In this case, this is a demo center that I'm currently running applications, but I can view those applications and I can kill a process directly from this screen. I can look at the jobs that have been completed for this user. I can view recent or active alerts, drill directly into an event log, which filtered by relevance. I can check the Citrix component versions and if any scheduled restart policies are to be applied. I can also see the history and performance of the user's connection with kind of relevant information about the login process. So again, if I drill in here, I can get all sorts of detailed contextual information about the connection, and this is all really useful for my support engineer in making accurate diagnosis. And then finally, I can fully manage all of the Windows services that are running on this desktop. Again, I can select those and I can execute those kind of standard operations, stop, start, and restart those services. So very granular, detailed information from a single place that when a support engineer is able to provide that level of support to their user and deliver that world-class user experience without having to have those expensive specialized virtualization skills. This is about doing the work for you in the background. I'd just like to touch kind of very briefly before I close on the demo. I'm just going to see if that has become available to me. Sorry, yeah. So this was just catching up in our demo center. So this was the desktop that I applied to my tenant within my tenant section. So I applied to this user a Windows 10 template, and I now have that available and my user can start working immediately. So just very quickly before I close on the demo, I just wanted to touch on the notion of roles-based access. So one of the things that certainly, as I say, in recent years is becoming an increasing focus across the board, not just with Citrix, but the notion of administrators with access to critical systems and infrastructure, creating holes within your organization's security policy. And Smart Workspace's suite essentially is a cloud-based abstraction layer, meaning that your administrators, they can manage the entire platform without ever having to touch the physical infrastructure. And we provide an incredibly granular way to deliver roles-based access. So if I show you one of the groups, let me click on partner. I have things that I can see, I have things that I can do, and then these are broken down very much in that kind of read, write, create. So a very granular way of providing that. And in doing so, we help to remove the possibility of an accidental or a malicious breach of your security policy and assist with the kind of the many compliance issues that you need to manage. So that has been a very much a whistle-stop tour of the demo of the console. There are a number of things in addition, valuable kind of features and capabilities that we add in extension of a Citrix environment around monitoring and alerting, managing AD. But again, if you're looking for more detail, then we can provide you that post this session with some of the additional content, and also we'd love to talk to you on a one-to-one basis around the way that the things you're doing and your environment today. So I'd just like to briefly pull back to the presentation, and hopefully that will have given you a kind of an insight into the way that we can help you deliver a secure, standardized or uniform deployment that you can depend upon for your company-wide digital workspace adoption via Citrix Cloud. Increasing user productivity of critical applications, and this, when we talk to our customers, is probably the #1 thing that they are looking to do here fundamentally, is increase productivity of those business critical applications, rapidly deploy, very easily manage via that single pane of glass, and in doing so, make sure that you continue to deliver that first-class, consistent, over time user experience, highly customizable to your needs, scalable as you grow, delivering that enhanced security, and fundamentally and ultimately helping you understand, predict, and lower those costs over time. Just a kind of a quick touch on the appliances themselves. Based on Intel scalable processes, they ship, and as I mentioned, in terms of storage, you have the ability to configure with up to 18 data packs of 1 terabyte raw or flash, or you can choose to leverage your existing investments in storage hardware, depending on what you have in place. Again, allowing you to potentially leverage some of those existing investments and reduce that total cost. We also incorporate some third-party software which is included within our appliance, and Login VSI and FS Logics are kind of two key components of that, adding additional value into our product. So a little on Flexxible IT ourselves. We are 10 years old as an organization. Our HQ is in London, but we have development and operations regionally in Europe and in the US. We service large, complex enterprise environments, global enterprise environments, and also small, focused SMB environments as well. So our products are very relevant regardless of the size and complexity of your operation. And for a third-party alliance organization of Citrix, we have a good number of Citrix certified engineers. As I mentioned at the beginning, we're focused exclusively on delivering solutions to enhance Citrix. That's all we do for a living, and so we feel the level of skill and experience that we can deliver as part of that is key in your choice when you're looking at a third party to work with. And then we also have very strategic alliances with other large kind of players in this space. So just to kind of wrap up, and before we go into Q&A, I just like to point out a couple of those areas that I mentioned at the start. We have an ebook, an IT white paper, which talks about some of the issues and some of the challenges, and how next generation workspace platforms like smart workspaces for Citrix Cloud can help you overcome some of those challenges, deliver the experience that you are looking for, and reduce your costs in doing so. We'd also love to hear from you in person, and we can arrange to demo the suite to you specifically based around your requirements. So on that note, I would like to see if there are any questions, Shasi, that are coming over the session.
Yes, Dom, we do have a few questions, and thanks for the wonderful presentation and walking us through the demo on and showing the features of Flexxible IT. And yeah, as you mentioned, we'll be sending out the information about the ebook and white paper to all the audience via email. You could go ahead and download those as well. Okay, great. So moving on to the Q&A session. So we have a few questions with us. Dom, here is the first question. How can I trial this solution?
We can provide evaluation and evaluation license. We just need to put you in touch with one of our pre-sales, our engineers who can provide that for you, and we can provide access into a demo console so that you can trial, and then we also have the ability to deliver a proof of concept on site if that's necessary as well. So yeah, we just need to engage you with one of our engineers internally, and we can organise that for you very rapidly.
Great, thanks. The next one is, what's the entry level for the appliance, and how many login access is possible for each organization?
So let me just spin back to this hardware slide here. So, oh, sorry, let me just move my tab. So the entry-level appliance is the Citrix Cloud 100. Ships with 284 gig of RAM, and we would look to that would support somewhere in the region of, and these are approximate sizings. There will be variances depending on the specific workloads that you're looking to deploy, but based on our experience in the field, this would support around 100 full virtual desktop users, and a shared desktop. If you're going down that shared desktop route, then nearly double that, and if you're just delivering apps, then around the 250 mark. So again, we can provide, and we have various documentation that describes how we size and the things that we factor in. But again, if you have a smaller implementation, then by all means talk to us, and we'll be able to give you very specific information around what your requirements would be.
Great. And I think they could always contact you directly on the email addresses that you were showing earlier to get more information as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If you contact us, and we can provide those specific details specific to your individual needs and requirements.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Okay, the next one is, how do we integrate with Active Directory?
Fede, that might be a question that will be useful for you to answer.
Hi everyone, I'm Fede. I will try to help. Sorry for my English. So we can integrate in a few ways with Active Directory. We can put all of our machines and configurations inside the customer domain in a single organization unit or in a few ones. We can also make the automatic deployment, putting all of the infrastructure need on-prem in a dedicated domain, and make a trust relationship between this domain and the customer domain. We can even work in domains where we don't have permission to create machine accounts or to create users and organizational units. And the way to work with this kind of domains is, for example, at the machine accounts level, we can ask to the Active Directory administrator to, I don't know, for 100 of machine accounts, we put these machine accounts in our console, and we can configure a minimum number, let's say 5 machine accounts. So the system will be assigned these machine accounts already created, and when we have 5 machine accounts left, we will have an alert in the monitoring section saying that we only have 5 machine accounts left free to take, and we can ask another time to the Active Directory administrator for more machine accounts. So it's not necessary have administrative privilege to the Active Directory. We can even work in very restrictive domains. and we have a lot of different choices to make this integration. We can put different templates in different organizational units, and we can configure everything in the Active Directory integration.
Thanks, Federico. So it seems to be like a easy process for the integration with Active Directory. Okay, so moving on to the next question. What is included with Flexxible IT licenses for the Citrix Cloud appliance?
So everything that you need that I've shown you today in terms of that console is included as standard out of the box within the Citrix Cloud appliance. So you buy the appliance, it ships with the software on board, it comes incorporated with the login VSI and FS Logix components, and everything is included to get you going from day one, rapidly installed, up and running within a couple of hours.
Great. Right, so we have a few more questions in line now. But considering the time, we may take up one last question and then we'll wrap this up. So the last one is, how do you create config scripts to add a template in storefront?
Fede, is that one that you can pick up?
Do you want me to repeat that?
Let me go back to, so I think I kind of alluded to it. So if I go back into my VM models, then again, this is, and I select that application server. Again, within the console, I have kind of easy at my fingertips access to all of this type of stuff, and we have a number of scripts that we've predefined here. In order to create my own, I simply add it into the console via this section, and that will be made immediately available as part of that. And that's really about giving you the ability to install any additional components that you want as part of the, the customization of that template. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, perfect. Great. So we do have a few more questions. Probably we'll take up those questions later on, and then we will reply back to the. We'll draft an email and then we'll send it across to you.
Fantastic.
Okay. So thanks, Dom. Thanks, Federico, for walking us through this presentation. This was wonderful, and I hope the audience also liked it. And if at all you have any questions, feel free to post the emails to sales@flexxible.com, and you can always write it to citrixready@citrix.com. Saying this, with this, we'll conclude this webinar. Thanks everyone for joining this Citrix Ready Technical Webinar series. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.